very good day and namaste to all the people who are watching us here. And I have with me a very special person of Varanasi, none other than Professor Krishna. He is a person who has enlightened a number of his students, not only in physics, but also in philosophy, not only preaching, but practicing what he preaches. So, without saying anything more, sir, thank you very much for being here with us on this show. And I'm sure that all our audience members, those who know you, are going to be delighted, and those who don't are going to be introduced to a very novel person of Varanasi. And as we always do in Santulan, I always start by requesting my guests to introduce themselves. So, can you tell us something about yourself, your background, where you were born, and your initial years?
Welcome, Anita. First of all, about my name. It's Padmanabhan Krishna. I was born in Tamil Nadu in a Tamil family. And in Tamil Nadu, the naming system is that you write your father's name and then your own name, and there is no surname. So Padmanabhan was my father's name. Krishna is my name, and I have no surname. My father was a professor of physics in Holkar College, Indore. And my mother, Maitreyi Padmanabhan, was a Montessori teacher who took training under Madam Montessori herself at Adyar in Madras during 1939 when I was 1 year old. And she started school, Montessori school in Indore in 1942. The Montessori philosophy is very similar to Krishnamurti's philosophy, but it was mainly propounded for small children. So she gave a method which enhances the sensitivity of the child. But there was a whole philosophy behind that method, and that philosophy was adopted by the Theosophical Society. So my parents were already familiar with all that, and I was brought up in a home where there was no fear, no punishment, where parents were like friends, providing security, helping you, and letting you free to grow as you wish. I consider that it was my good fortune to belong to that family and grow in such an atmosphere. I went to school in my mother's school, which had Montessori principles, which continued in the same manner without any fear or friendship and affection and guidance. And later on, I studied in my father's college for my BSc, and I went to Delhi University for my master's in physics. There I met Krishnamurti. He was giving talks in Delhi, and I attended those talks, and I was greatly fascinated by what he was speaking. So both physics and philosophy through Krishnamurti were two parallel interests of mine. Both are, in a sense, quest for truth. The truth about nature is the concern of science, and the truth about human consciousness is the subject matter of Krishnamurti's teaching.
So, sir, I would like to know that when you were a child, you never, you were never naughty. You didn't do anything naughty or told a lie?
Like all children, I was naughty. I would climb every tree
Yes.
on the campus.
Uh-huh.
I was just that I was very lucky to have parents who gave us complete freedom and who never scolded us and never frightened us.
Okay, then I'm going to ask you another question.
Yeah.
Did you love your mother more? Did you love your father more?
Well, the contact with your mother is always more for a child because she also feeds you and looks after your clothing and bath and everything. And the father, more the intellectual side and difficulties in physics and mathematics he used to teach me. He was a good teacher, so I was fortunate that way, getting guidance from both aspects of my life.
So, can you share with our viewers one incident? I'm sure there are many in which you really fondly remember your mother.
Well, when I was 6 years old, 1944, I used to develop low temperature in the evenings, and the doctors couldn't make out what the illness was at that time. So they advised that I should be taken to a hill station if that may help solve the problem. So she took me to Kasauli with a ayah maid servant because my younger brother was only 3 months old, and she set up an establishment there and kept me there for more than 6 months. I consider that to be very remarkable for a lady to do that on her own.
Definitely, it was an act of love.
Yeah.
Real maternal love.
So, yeah. And she had tremendous energy. She would, in those days, women were not used to swimming or playing tennis or driving a car, and she would do all these things. She was quite an independent woman. Father was mostly reading books, staying at home in the office, very disciplined, very intellectual, very moral person. But it was mother who was managing everything else around him. So that's what I would say about my family life.
That's really wonderful. How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 brothers.
Yes.
2 older than me and 1 younger.
Okay.
They all went into the Air Force, Indian Air Force.
Oh my goodness. You have a family of flyers, huh?
Yeah.
You're the only one who's grounded.
Yeah, my eldest brother was P. Gautam, who got 2 Mahavir Chakras, one in each war. Yeah, 65 war and then 71 war, both. And he highly decorated. And second brother was chief test pilot in Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. He is still alive, and he lives in Bangalore. He has retired now, and he's 3 years older than me, so he's 91 now. My younger brother also joined the Air Force. He was with me in Banaras doing engineering, but he didn't feel greatly interested in doing engineering. So when he finished first 2 years, he applied to the Air Force for direct commissioning, and he was selected. So he also became a Air Force pilot. And unfortunately, one day when he was driving from his office to his home, a truck came and struck him, and he died in that accident.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah. So now I have only one brother who is alive, and that is my brother Ashoka, elder brother.
I see. So, no sisters?
No sisters. So I took my revenge because I grew up in a family in which there was one woman and 5 males. Yeah, and now I am one man, 5 females.
Oh my
I
God.
have 4 daughters.
Four daughters?
4 daughters.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's really wonderful.
I
So
know.
you must be so proud of them, all of
I
them.
am more than proud, just I love them all.
Oh, that is the most important thing. They always say that daughters are always bonded more to the father than the mother, and
Yes.
the sons are more bonded towards the mother.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
They all love their mother.
The mother
Yeah.
equally. Yes, yes.
But relationship is somewhat different,
Yeah.
natural. Yeah.
So, what about your mother? Could you tell us more about your mother and about her career right up to, you told me that 90 plus she was working till the very end?
Yes, she built 5 schools, 4 of them in Indore, right from Montessori till 12th.
Mhm.
So that would be what? About 48 years of
Of service
yeah,
to the
12
nation.
years in
Absolutely.
yeah, each
So
school.
those schools are still running and they are
They're
doing
still
well.
running with the same philosophy, and so
Okay.
she's a well-known name in Indore
Mhm.
in the field of education.
You were mentioning during the course of conversation regarding the theosophical values.
Yes.
Could you just enlighten our viewers regarding the values which you grew up with?
The Theosophical Society was quite a unique enterprise. It started in 1875 with a lady called Madame Blavatsky, who was a Russian lady, and she had a lot of occult powers. Occult powers means like telepathy and mind reading and things like that, which are not normal powers which human beings have. And she befriended a gentleman, Colonel Olcott, in US, and the two of them started this society out of their interest in Eastern religions and so on, mainly Buddhism. And the society was started with the following objectives: that all human beings are equal and there should be brotherhood of international brotherhood of human beings with no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed, or sex. And different religions are different paths to truth, and we must respect all the paths. But truth is the highest religion. That means the religion itself is not producing the truth, but truth is beyond religion, and you can acquire it on any of these paths. Those are the ideas with which, and that you must study comparative religion and philosophy and consciousness. And in that process, you must encourage study of science and philosophy and arts and music, everything. And Krishnamurti was adopted by Mrs. Annie Besant, who was the president of the Theosophical Society in India. She had come to Banaras in 1893, made it her home, and stayed here for 14 years. And then in 2007, when Colonel Olcott died, then she became president of the Theosophical Society and lived in Madras.
There's always been a story about her saying that, young Krishnamurti used to go and attend church with her, though he was not a Christian. And she left the Christian religion after a couple of years, after coming to Varanasi. Is that a fact?
Yes, she adopted Hinduism, formally adopted Hinduism. Actually, she was a theosophist and she was a follower of Madame Blavatsky. Madame Blavatsky, she looked after Madame Blavatsky in her old age, and Madame Blavatsky died in her home in London. And she was sent as a member representing the Theosophical Society in the Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893. There she heard Vivekanand.
Yes.
And Vivekanand was a person who believed in a very liberal form of Hinduism, which respected all religions and all gurus, and believed in freedom of thinking and belief. She was so impressed with this that she decided to come to India that very year. And she came to India and made a home in Varanasi. Then she started working for education for the children in India, because she saw that girls were not being educated in schools. So she started a girls' school and a boys' school in Kamacha in Varanasi. And Mr. Arundale was made the principal of the Central Hindu College, Kamacha. When Madan Mohan Malviya started having visions of creating the Hindu University, which had similar objectives to what she had, that she wanted a very Indian education for Indians and not a Western style education. She handed over that college to Malviya ji, and it was the first college around which the Banaras Hindu University was formed. Yeah.
So then after that, when she was connected with Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, so after that, how many years was she involved with the making of or establishing of Banaras Hindu University?
She was not much involved with the making of the university. She handed over
the school,
this educational project to Malviya ji. She was more interested in working for home rule for India. So she developed the agitations against the British government, and she was arrested and put by the British into prison in Uttarakhand.
I see.
And in 1916, she was in prison there. And in 1917, when Gandhiji came from South Africa, he wrote to the British government that she is an extraordinary woman and you have no right to put her into prison. She has done so much reform, social reform for women as well as for for religion. And so she was released, and he made her the president of the Indian National Congress in 1917. Then she worked with him for 2-3 years, and then handed over the movement of independence to him, because she didn't know Hindi and she could not go all over to the villages and so on. So she felt that Gandhiji would be a better person to work for the independence of India. But when Gandhiji started the non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience and so on, she was against that. She felt that independence will not remain worth getting if you teach people indiscipline. And so it should be obtained through constitutional means. And so she differed from him and she separated from his movement. But she respected him as a saintly person.
So now, in today's day and age, when children come into the school along with the subjects according to the national education policy, we have to also share with them values and the human values, especially, which is Satya, Hinsa, Prem, Bhaichara, and Shanti. So, this sounds very good when we say it to the children. But the children themselves have given the feedback that when they are trying to practice this in school, it's easier. But the minute they go home, the atmosphere is so different that they are stifled and they are not able to practice it. What could be your, advice, or what would be your thinking in this matter and advice to teachers and parents, because it's becoming increasingly difficult for children to understand values?
It's a deep-seated problem which has no easy solution. All easy solutions will fail, including giving lectures on moral science and things like that, which many schools have tried to do. But what is necessary is to create a child in the child sensitivity right from the beginning. Sensitivity means your feeling of love and affection and care for all other life, plant life, animal life, human life, friends, other people, and so on. So you create a global mind with that kind of feeling of affection for all, including nature. That is something that education needs to do, and not just a nationalistic or propaganda type of man. You can't go very far with propaganda. Nobody has been able to do that. So Marxist propaganda, these are not things which can be solved by rules and by parliaments and laws and so on. All that people have done, but it has not solved the problem. It requires a change in the human being, and only education is capable of doing that, provided it seriously undertakes that task. Unfortunately, it has not. Most of the education is set up for the economic development of the country in mind, not human development. And so that is the root basis on which this problem arises.
The teachers of today are struggling actually, because the national education policy, what it has done is it has overburdened the syllabus. And there have been talks of lightening the syllabus, but teachers in the school say that only professors and scientists are called in and consulted for making these policies. And these people who are making the policies have not taught in a class full of 4-year olds, 8-year olds, or 14-year olds, even a single day. So without understanding the child, they have just, written out syllabi.
Unfortunately, in our country, there is this mindset which thinks that the learned man, the professor, the university person and philosophers, they are the people who can guide education. But they don't know the mind of the child.
Yes.
And therefore, if they are used to make the syllabus, it will not conform to a healthy kind of education. In America, there was in my subject, a physics study committee that was formed, in which they included school teachers and professors of physics together. And they evolved a new course of modern science, which we later on adopted in Banaras Hindu University. And I taught that course for a few years. And American professors would come here to develop that course, and so I was part of that. But that was a very intelligent effort, which included the inputs from the school teachers who knew about the child. And therefore, unfortunately, such an exercise was not done in India. Both the NCERT books and so on, they have all been made by university professors.
Yes.
Who have only contact with senior students of university, not with the child. And therefore, they are not suitable people. Some of them happen to be my colleagues, and I told them this, that, you have written this book, it's an excellent book, subject-wise, but for whom is it meant? who is going to understand all this? Not the school child. So it was a wrong approach to, but the people who are deciding these things themselves are not wise about education.
There is the emphasis on all the board exams, whether it is state board, CBSE or SISKI board. They all are emphasizing on concept-based questions.
Not only that, they want to teach everything that the latest knowledge that has developed. And knowledge has expanded so much.
Yes.
And the number of years that a child spends in school or in college is the same as before.
Yes.
So the course has become extremely heavy. You are learning everything that your father learned, plus everything that you learned, and now your child is burdened with still more knowledge on it. With the result that what happens between the teacher and the student is like two people running to catch a train, and then they are having dialogue on the way. You see,
That's
the child is trying to finish the courses somehow, and the teacher is also trying to finish the courses somehow. So it's a very stupid way of doing things.
Emotional connect, which is so important, is
no, it is not important to teach everything, the whole of the knowledge. You teach half as much, and you go into depth so that the child intelligence is developed in that subject and his interest. Then he will pick up and he will learn what he wants to learn. You can't teach him everything. So it's a wrong thinking on the part of the people who organize this knowledge.
So you loved physics. Was it because of your teachers or because you really loved physics as a subject?
I learned physics as a subject. Actually, I first took biology. I was reasonably good. I got first class marks in biology also. But I went and told my father that, I have done well in biology, but I don't find it interesting. I find physics and mathematics much more interesting. So he said, then why do you want to go for medical? For 5 years, they will teach you only chemistry and biology, and you're not interested in that. Then I said, what can I do? I have already chosen that. He said, just sit down for a year, learn mathematics, and appear as a private student. I will help you to study, and I will get you permission to audit classes in the college. So that's what I did after my 12th class. For 1 year, I did only mathematics. And next year, I joined BSc with physics, chemistry, mathematics, which were my interesting subjects. So, but I was lucky that my parents were like that. Yeah.
Nowadays, the parents will never.
No, I argued against it. I said, don't you think I will be wasting 1 year? He said, what do you mean by waste? You will be learning something, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's not waste. Most people feel that student life is much more interesting than the rest of life. So what does it matter if your student life is extended one more year and your professional life was less by 1 year? He was very intelligent in all these respects.
So that brings me to my next question. That Krishnamurti Foundation School is always, Rajghat School rather, is always being known to have students who are self-disciplined. Now, I want you to relate one incident from your time as a principal when somebody uh, had done gross misconduct in the school, and how did you deal with it?
In fact, when I joined here, I found that it was not even as good as the school I had grown up in, my mother's school, because they had misinterpreted idea of freedom. And they had allowed children to just do whatever they liked.
Whatever, that was freedom.
So it became license. And when I joined here, the students all, I joined in 17th of February, and in March, the festival of Holi came. So the senior students all misbehaved with the lady teachers. And the lady teachers came crying to me, saying, these children, they have played on our laps, and today they are behaving like this, and so on. So I suspended both the 10th and 12th class. I said, no student is going to get a certificate from this school if he doesn't know how to behave with his teachers and doesn't know how to behave with women. So they said, what do you want to do? We apologize. I said, why are you apologizing to me? Have you apologized to the people with whom you have offended?
Yes.
So they had not. So they went and whatever they did with those women later on came to me and said, sir, forgive them, for they are now in great distress. We don't want their career to be. And so on. So partly there have to be limits to. I mean, there is a saying by Tagore which I like very much. He said, the waters of the river must be free to flow. But if they don't respect the banks, they will never get to the sea.
Yes. How beautiful and profound.
Yes. That relates to this freedom and discipline. That you have to limit, you have to know the limits to your freedom. Otherwise, you will not, freedom becomes license.
Very true.
Yeah. So that you have to teach that to the children.
So the parents didn't come and fight with you?
Not parents, the students fought with me. They came, they gathered me, and one of the students said to me, you can't do this. This is a Krishnamurti school. मैंने कहा बेटे अभी तो मैं यहाँ प्रिंसिपल हूँ तुम्हें मुझसे डील करना है आई विल डील विथ कृष्णमूर्ति आफ्टरवर्ड्स यू deal with me. Which was 16-year-old kid, he's trying to tell me. He was threatening me, but that's, in the previous people in this school had misunderstood freedom. And so they took no action whatsoever. It's not like that. There have to be limits.
Yes. So what do you think? Like, you know that things have changed now in the society. And there's a lot of polarization, and not only I'm not talking about caste and about creed, but there's a lot of polarization in the sense that the children feel that, as you said, freedom means that they have a freedom of speech and freedom of action. They can do whatever they want and get away. And unfortunately, they are being encouraged by their parents. Why is this change coming around? What is your take on this? Why are the parents
ignorance about what freedom really means? When Krishnamurti talks about freedom, he is talking about freedom from violence, freedom from greed, freedom from fear, freedom from attachment, freedom from sorrow, and so on. He is not talking about freedom to do what you like and so on. But people just take the word freedom and interpret it in their own way. Then it doesn't apply. See, it doesn't apply. That's not what he means. So unless you understand deeply what he is talking about, you will not be able to do it. And so that was one of the things I learned when I came here, that this school is meant to follow Krishnamurti's teaching, and the teachers don't know what Krishnamurti's teaching is. So I decided that once a week, 1 hour, I will read something to them from Krishnamurti about education. And then we will discuss what is the implications of this for our work in the school. In that 1 hour, there will be no discussion about administrative problems or school problems and so on. It will be only this. So that the teachers will get at least intellectually introduced to the idea of why he is saying no fear, no competition, no reward and punishment, and so on. So without that, they don't know. You can't do this as a policy. It has to come from your heart, because the way the teacher looks at you is either a reward or a punishment. So unless it is in his heart, his look will not come.
So besides teaching the text and academics, as you have so many years of experience, what do you feel like, for example, in physics or even biology or chemistry, which is your forte, that students should be taught? Because lab work is not enough. That's simply observation and reporting and inference. But the love for a subject only comes when you sort of practice everything. How can
the most, the biggest problem is this emphasis on marks in the examination, for which you can just memorize things, not use your intelligence, not learn about it. So you know Newton's laws, you can define them, you can write them in the exam paper and get marks, but you don't know what do they mean.
Yes.
You don't know what do they mean. So that is why the awakening of intelligence, not only in life but also in the subject, is so important. Right. The intelligence.
Yes.
And that then the child will get interested and he will learn for himself because he is interested. But instead of that, if you have made him cram, he finds it boring, but he does it just in order to get the marks in the examination. And there it's a false notion of competition, as if we are all in a race with each other. We are not in a race with each other.
No. One thing which is cropping up, like it was welcomed with open arms by everybody, and now it's sort of becoming an obstacle. That is the use of artificial intelligence. Lately, we were talking to some professors from IIT Mumbai, Mumbai, and they were complaining that the students, even at engineering level, are using Chat GTP and other modes to frame the answers, and they just simply copy, cut, and paste it. They're not understanding, and they're getting the marks, as you said, the marks. And but their understanding of engineering and the particular subject or topic is next to nil.
So when I joined here, I would we had something called a culture class. And I would talk to the students about this. I said, suppose, why do you feel that copying in the examination is wrong? So they said, because you have not learned the subject, you are just copying from your neighbor and so you are cheating. I said, suppose you just memorize and you write the answer. How is that different? You have still not done the subject. You have not understood the subject. So why isn't that equally wrong? So they made them think about it. I said, you don't come to school just to pass an examination. The examination is meant to evaluate where you stand. Where you stand. I also need to know where I stand, and my teacher also needs to know where, because he needs to know where to give emphasis in his teaching of me, where I am weak, where I am strong. That's the purpose of examination. It's not a race who is standing first, who is second. It has no value.
What advice would you give teachers of today?
See, unless you come upon some amount of wisdom, even if not in the whole wisdom, just about education, there is no advice you can give, because it will go wrong. Without wisdom, it will go wrong.
So the key is the wisdom.
Problem, yes. The problem is the teacher himself has grown up like that, memorizing, passing examinations, getting awards and rewards.
Going to break the mold.
Yes, because that's how they are conditioned. That's how it should be done. So when you tell a teacher, don't punish and don't threaten, don't use fear, and he comes and the children are misbehaving in his class, he says, yahi hoga. If you don't punish, then what? This is what is. He blames it on the policy. He doesn't know that you have to make the subject interesting for the child, then he'll behave himself.
Yes, he's just doing his duty.
Yes.
I think that is what is happening, that there is a big gap between what we are wanting, the Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations 4 and 16. They both are about, encouraging education and
But the
education
other thing is
institutions.
that education requires that it should be a personal contact between teacher and student.
Yes.
Now, when you have very large classes, 50 children, 60 children to one teacher, it's not possible. It's not possible. So that's also the size of the school and the class matters. That's why as a compromise in Rajghat, the classroom has only 20 to 25 children in one class. Yeah. And so your teacher is dealing with 20, 25 children, and the student and teacher ratio in the whole school is something like 1:7. Of course, that makes the fees high and the school therefore expensive. But if you want to do that in education, you have to.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Most welcome.
for being with us today. And I'm sure that we've had a very, very interesting talk with you. And we look forward to many more. So, audience, we hope that we meet you again in the next podcast with another interesting person who are the jewels of Varanasi, jewels of India. One such whom we met today, Professor P. Krishna.